we feel to prove ourselves can show up in a way of like saying yes when you really want to say no.
Hmm.
But you don't say no because you don't want to seem as if you're lazy. So it's like, I'm just going to say yes because I don't want people to think that I'm lazy because I don't want to do the extra work, or, so that it may look like that. It may also look like working twice as hard just to feel worthy enough. So even on the days that we should be resting, we don't. We just
Yep.
keep going. We keep showing up again because we feel like we're not worthy enough to take the rest. Welcome to the Trust in Her Journey podcast. I'm Felicia.
And I'm Crystalline.
This podcast is a safe space for women who are carrying a lot, women who are trying to trust themselves again while managing the weight of their roles and responsibilities.
We know what it's like to feel stretched thin because you're constantly showing up for everyone and putting your own needs last. Here, we have honest conversations about the silent struggles many women face.
We're so glad you're here. In every episode, we'll talk about the real challenges women navigate, whether it's juggling work and family, carving out time for yourself, or learning to trust your instincts again.
You'll hear us share personal stories and lessons from our experience to help you trust your path and rethink what peace and balance actually looks like for you.
Our goal is to guide you through the hard moments with honest conversations about boundaries, self-care, and leaning on your faith for strength.
If you've been feeling overwhelmed, unseen, or unsure about how to care for yourself while caring for everyone else, you're in the right place.
Just a quick heads up, this podcast isn't a substitute for working with a licensed counselor or therapist, but don't worry, if you need that kind of support, we've got some resources for you in the show notes. Let's start the conversation. Welcome back to Trust in Her Journey. If this is your first time here, we're so glad you found your way to this space. And if you have been on this journey with us, you already know we're keeping it honest today. But
Yes, we
before we
are.
begin, because Crystalline always asks me how I'm doing, I'm going to Uno reverse and start with her. How are you today?
I don't think I have anything to complain about. Let me think. No,
Okay,
I'm here.
okay,
I'm feeling good. And I'm
okay.
grateful. So, yep, no complaints.
Good. Again, I love that question. Do I have anything to complain about? So I'm
Mhm.
gonna for sure use that because I do feel that sometimes, when people ask, like, how are you doing? What's been going on? We're looking for something to say,
Mhm.
as if we are afraid to say that things are good. Like I'm feeling good. I have no
Yeah.
complaints. So
Yeah.
I'm going to steal that from you. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. Well, it helps to just kind of put me in a space of gratitude. Not that my complaints aren't worth mentioning, because I know
Yeah.
if I shared them with you, you would listen, you'd be supportive.
Yes.
But I also too challenge myself when someone asks me how I'm doing to or feeling to actually take a minute to think about it instead of just giving a generic, oh, I'm good, I'm all right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's true. I've been working on that as well. Not always saying I'm good if I'm not good, but
Mm-hmm.
also acknowledging when I do feel good or the
Mm-hmm.
moments that I'm experiencing joy. So holding space for all of the things and not
Yes,
just one or the other.
that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
So today, you want to let the guests know what we're going to be talking about today?
Yeah, so today we are having a conversation about just the pressure to prove yourself. And I know that we have all probably been in this space before, in some experience in our lives where we have felt this unspoken or even spoken pressure to prove our worth, to prove that we are good enough, to prove that
Mhm.
we are doing enough. And sometimes it shows up so much so where we're like seeking perfection. So I am 100% like excited to have this conversation again because I can relate in so many ways. And I think even when we were having like the pre-episode
Mm-hmm.
conversation that you and I kind of dive into, just speaking on what that looks like as just like a entrepreneur or a business
Mm-hmm.
owner. And for
Yep.
me, I feel like there is this pressure to prove that I can get it right, that I
Yeah.
know how to run a business, that I know how to show up in multiple roles, whether that is the CEO or the therapist
Mm-hmm.
or the admin person in some cases, like just feeling the pressure to show up and
Yeah.
get it right and prove that I am supposed to be in this space. It can be a lot. And so I'm excited to have this conversation because we have talked about ways in which we can move beyond trying to prove or even add extra pressure on ourselves. What
Yeah.
about you? Do you feel like you can relate to this topic at all?
Well, yeah, I've definitely felt that too. This pressure to prove to myself that I know what I'm doing, prove to the people who are waiting for me to show up for them, right? That is something that I am reminded and sometimes remind myself of, right? So there are some people who are waiting for me to show up, for me to, whether it be my kid waiting for me to finish recording so I can fix her lunch,
Mm-hmm.
or one of the women who I know God has called me to support and speak to, whether it be through emails or one-on-one sessions or social media posts, right? So um there's a responsibility we have
Yeah.
to show up that comes with some pressure sometimes, and we don't even realize we're carrying it. I can remember times where I would like over prepare for
Mm.
even, recording today. I could, another version of me could have spent way too much time over preparing just for this conversation, when why would I need to put myself through that when this is something I live? So I don't, there's no preparation that needs to be done in a way that's going to be all consuming.
Yeah.
We want to be thoughtful, we want to be intentional, but I think sometimes for me that was even masked. Like, I'm just trying to do things with excellence. So that's
Yes.
why, right? We
Yeah.
kind of talked about the overthinking stuff last time. So um, I didn't even realize I was really trying to prove to myself and maybe other people that I was capable, that I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
Um, that was worthy of the, oh, Kristen, thank you so much for the blah 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 that you helped me with, right?
Yes.
Like, oh, that's a lot. You don't realize it in the moment, but I want to be able to help them again next time, right? Each client that comes every week, you want to be able to make sure they experience some sort of breakthrough or have an aha moment. That's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of pressure. And so some of the silent struggles that we face as women and we face as clinicians is definitely real, and something that we have to constantly be working through.
Yeah. And if you feel as if the stories that we shared aren't ones that you maybe experience, we do want to kind of give you some examples of what the pressure to prove yourself could look like in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so outside of what we kind of explained as just like mothers, therapists, or even entrepreneurs, sometimes the pressure that we feel to prove ourselves could show up in a way of like saying yes when you really want to say no,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't say no because you don't want to seem as if you're lazy. So it's like, I'm just going to say yes because I don't want people to think that I'm lazy because I don't want to do the extra work,
Mm-hmm.
or so that it may look like that. It may also look like working twice as hard just to feel worthy enough. So even on the days that we should be resting, we don't. We just
Yep.
keep going. We keep showing up
Yep.
again because we feel like we're not worthy enough to take the rest. And that comes from trying to prove that, I can keep going. I can grind. I can
Yeah, I
hustle.
got this.
I got this.
Mhm.
If I really need to, I can do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It may also look like just I think over explaining, which we talked about this last week in the
Mm-hmm.
overthinking
Mm-hmm.
conversation, but just over explaining your decisions because you're afraid that someone will think that you have changed or you're too much,
Mm.
whatever that's supposed to mean. Because,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's annoying in itself, like you're
Mm-hmm.
too
You're right.
much. And then when you are actually focused on growing and maybe becoming a different version of yourself, sometimes people don't really like that. And so you're over explaining why you are doing the inner work, you're over explaining why you made the decision that you made.
Yeah.
Again,
To stop going
yeah.
places, to stop,
Yep.
to disconnect from certain
Yep.
people. Yeah. All of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So you do lose some things when you start to rediscover who you are, when you're in a place where you are trusting your own path, your own journey. A lot of people aren't going to be okay with that. So
Yeah.
it definitely, um, it definitely helps you to feel this pressure to even try to figure out, okay, did I make the best decision? Because I decided I wanted to let go of certain things, certain relationships. I wanted to live my life a different way. And now I feel this
Yeah.
pressure because I'm being either left out, feeling left
Yes.
out. That's something that's not easy for a lot of us to, we're not okay with that all the time. You
Nope.
can make a decision and you know it's the best decision for you, but then still there's this question of if I made the right decision. Um, because I do feel this pressure of trying to belong. Maybe that's the phrase I'm looking for. You want to belong. So if I'm honest, that's exhausting.
Girl.
That is exhausting. Even trying
Yeah.
to process that is exhausting. Trying to prove that you're smart enough, that you're healed enough, that you're mature enough, that you've grown enough, that you are faithful enough, that you know enough scripture. All of these things, it's hard. When the truth is, I'm actually good, just as I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah.
There's always room for growth. There's
Yes.
always room for me to make progress. But the way I am today,
It's enough.
it's enough. It's enough.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind
Mhm.
of like, yes, there is always room for growth or just to improve, but sometimes I feel like we want to grow every single day. Like we
Yeah,
want
all
to
the
do
time.
the
That's the
all
exhausting
the
part.
time. That's exhausting. And I think that that also plays into the idea of like feeling pressure to prove that you aren't the same, that you can grow, that you
Yep.
can evolve.
Yep.
And yes, that's exhausting. It's
Yeah.
just too much.
Yeah. I think it's okay to, want to be a greater, more powerful, more confident, more peace-filled, joyful person.
Yeah.
Especially if you've experienced trauma or drama or toxic situations in life. I think
Yeah.
it's okay to want to move forward past those things that you've overcome. And because that can be so exhausting, I think a lot of times, and you tell me if you can relate, I think a lot of times this pressure to even perfect the healing journey or the growth process helps a lot of women to kind of end up stuck again.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
Yeah.
why have I been doing what is the point? Why have I been doing
Yeah.
all of this work if, okay, if you're single and you are doing all of this work, that might mean
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be single for longer.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because that definitely makes the pool of people that you choose to date smaller because there's
Mm-hmm.
certain things you're not going to tolerate anymore that you once tolerated.
Yeah.
If you are on a job and you've decided, you know what, yeah, it's too much pressure for me to show up perfect and for me to make sure I can do everything perfectly all the time. I can't stay in this lane anymore. I got to do something different, right? That
Yeah.
might mean you are out of work or not working the kind of job that you would want to for a longer period of time.
Yes.
So there's so many things at risk. And I think that's how why a lot of women end up in the space where they just stay
Yeah.
put because it's
Yeah.
safer, it's more familiar, it's more comfortable.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, what do you think?
No, I agree. I do think that I always kind of have this conversation with clients around like when we're constantly like in this space of I need to do the work, I need to do the work at all times, or um forever in my healing journey where I'm like doing deep work. When do you actually stop and enjoy the work that you have done?
Exactly.
So it's
Yeah,
like, yes, you can always work on your confidence, your
you can.
self-esteem,
That's
like
true.
communication skills, showing up
Mm-hmm.
in the way that you want to.
Mm-hmm.
And when do you actually take the time to reap some of the benefits of the work that you have already
Yeah,
done?
yeah, yeah.
Like what you have done is
It's
enough right
enough.
now. So
Yeah.
let's
So
celebrate
enjoy this
that.
part.
Yeah,
Enjoy this.
show that.
Yeah, enjoy where you are. You've done so much hard work. So enjoy the fruits of your labors. That's still an expression that people still say that, or am I
Yep,
dating myself?
exactly. No, I say that and I say
Yeah,
that
and
in
yeah, you've worked so
sessions.
hard. So
Yeah.
enjoy the hard work that you and that may not look the way other people think it should look, right?
Yes.
Um, being okay with that is hard. Some of us have been taught that love and acceptance, even safety, only comes through how well we perform, how
Mm-hmm.
often we show up,
Mm-hmm.
how much money we give, right? All the
How much we do for
how
other
much we do,
people.
yeah, the performance.
Yeah.
And so I think what I want women to know is that we can start today, we can start living a life that looks like I'm going to accept who I am, where I am right now in this moment today. Perfection is not my goal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Perfection is not my goal.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to accept who I am right now. Do I have areas I want to grow in? Sure. Of course I
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
Um, but it's okay to take my time
Yeah.
to get there.
What if, like, because I do feel that even when we acknowledge those things or the ways in which we are like overperforming or we're working extremely hard to perform, we also know that, and I'm pretty sure that you would agree with this as well. In the profession that we are in, we often hear, like, it is hard for me to move past this. It's hard for me to not do this because I've always been taught this. I've
Mm-hmm.
always heard this. So it's kind of like these internal narratives or scripts that
Mm-hmm.
we are operating out of. And
Yep.
so even in those moments, like how would you help someone kind of maybe recognize that it is an internal shift that they are maybe, or I'll say internal narrative that
Yeah.
they are kind of hearing, and then how can we get out of that? Like in what ways could we share how they can kind of move beyond that?
Right. So I think the first thing is to identify what some of those the silent scripts are. So
Mm-hmm.
things you maybe tell yourself or have been telling yourself you picked up along the way, or even things that you've been told as a child or things you've heard, things you come to believe as true,
Yeah.
right? You can't rest until everything is done. If you say no, then this person or that person is going to be disappointed. Don't embarrass the
Mm-hmm.
family. We
Oh
don't talk
yeah.
about how we feel. What goes on in this house stays in this house. All of those kind of things become a part of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's first important to know or decide if those are scripts or narratives you want to hold on to.
Yes.
Do you want to keep them? Because you have a choice. Obviously, when we were kids, we didn't have much of a choice or a choice at
Yeah,
all.
but now we're grown,
We're
okay?
real grown, so we can decide. Because those
Yes.
scripts, they don't just influence or affect how we act, but they shape how we see ourselves. And I need to know, just like if you take parenting, for example, right? We need to know, like, if you were taught that you had to clean your plate, for example, or else. Now we know what the or else might have meant.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to raise your kid to feel like they have to clean their plate or else? And that's a small example. It might be big to some, but that's a small example, right?
Yeah.
If what you were taught was what happens in your house and our house stays in the house, well, what does that mean? Because there's a difference between things being private and you needing to say or share what's happening because you need support or someone else has access to
Yeah.
resources that you don't have, right? So do you want to hold on to these things as your truth?
Mm-hmm.
Now that you're grown,
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to hold on to those things?
Yeah. And if you say or answer yes to, I actually do want to release them, I no
Mm-hmm.
longer want to hold
Yep.
on to
Okay.
them, then a shift that you can start to kind of like say to yourself or embody is you are allowed to rewrite those scripts. Like
Yes.
you're allowed to say, this isn't the story I want to live my life by anymore. I
Yep.
actually want something different for me.
Mhm.
I don't want to perform. I just want
Yes.
to exist. I just want to be. I don't want to feel like I always have to be on or get it right.
Yes, that's true. Also, when you decided there's a boundary you're going to set, saying no to someone, deciding you're not going to, if they say, well, who can, you don't have to be the one to raise your hand, right? Who can? Fill
Right.
in the blank. You don't
Right.
have to be one to raise your hand. So even that is the beginning of a breakthrough, was for me at least. Once
Mm.
I decided I'm going to practice not being the one to save the day, I'm going to practice not being the one to raise my hand and volunteer. That was so powerful for me. It took what actually helped me to take some of the power back that I had given away in my time too, if I'm honest, because I was over giving to a point of being burnout. So I wasn't even giving from a place of love. I was giving from a place of feeling obligated, sacrificing myself, sacrificing my time and my energy. And so I had to reclaim that by just saying, I deserve the rest too. Some of these people who are not raising their hands or volunteering, maybe they onto something. Maybe they're not selfish. I was thinking they'd be, so how dare they not volunteer? How dare they?
Yeah.
Well, maybe they were onto something that I had just was too late to figure out, that it
Yeah.
is okay to say no. It is okay to let someone else step in and do the things. And I think for me, that's when the shift started to take place, because I can now, some of the pressure, I put it that way, some of the pressure was lifted.
So that's where, do you feel like that is the space where you started to release the guilt or
Yes and no. So I
okay.
think if we think about the scripts, the things that we tell ourselves because either it was told to us or we just came to believe it on our own, guilt comes up when I think I've done something bad or wrong, right?
Mm.
That's what guilt is technically for.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the actual literal definition of it. So if I feel like saying no is wrong because that's the narrative, right? In my head, I need to be the one to volunteer and help and show up, then some of that guilt is still going to kind of linger. So I don't want women to think that they need to wait until there's an absence of guilt before they do the thing they know is best for them, because
Yes.
you may still feel a little of that because for so long you've been doing things one way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
don't wait until you don't feel guilty. Acknowledge the guilt. I feel guilty or I feel bad for saying no or for not showing up or for not doing whatever the thing is, because of the story I tell myself about why I I shouldn't have stopped in the first place. I should have been saying yes all of this time.
Yes. Yeah.
I've been saying yes all this time. Excuse me. I've been saying yes all of this time because I thought I needed to. I thought I needed to show up for everyone. Now I'm realizing I don't have to show up for everybody. So yeah, I might feel a little guilty about that at first, but over time, right? What we're waiting for is for the guilt to lessen. Over
Mm.
time, I'm going to feel less guilty because I'm now reminding myself, oh, yeah, I can serve from a place of being full of energy and peace and joy because I've taken care of myself first. I can serve from a place of overflow because I've
Mm-hmm.
poured into me, as opposed to always only pouring into other people and leaving nothing for yourself.
Yeah.
So we're talking about self-love is really what we're talking about.
Yes. And what it also sounds like is you really came to a place in your life where you were like, I truly deserve like peace and not just to be productive, not to always volunteer, not to always raise my hand, not to always be there for other people, which means I don't have to prove that I'm worthy of peace. I don't have
No, I
to
don't.
prove that I deserve a break. I just
Mhm.
deserve it because I want it. I deserve it.
Because of who I am, because of my
Yeah.
existence.
Yes.
From a clinical perspective, I know that was the overgiving, the showing up all the time, the not being able to say no
Yeah,
was a trauma response.
absolutely.
Perfectionism, overachieving, people pleasing, they're
People
all survival
pleasing.
strategies.
Yes, yes.
It's what we learn to do to stay safe, to stay connected to people, we think it's what we need to do to feel love, to be
Yeah,
supported. I can't risk not being loved. I can't risk them not wanting me around, so I gotta show up. We'll go back to that word perform again, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
I've supported so many women who didn't even realize that's what they were doing. Saying women who said, like, I feel useless. I feel like I don't have worth or value if I can't be the one to do whatever it is that's being asked of me.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's not that we are lazy when we say no. Sometimes, yeah, it is. We're tired, but so many of us have been in like the survival mode for so long, we didn't even realize it. So giving yourself permission to do less, period.
That's it.
It's not
So
it's not gonna be comfortable at
it's
first,
not.
but
It's
it's so
not.
freeing to learn
Yeah.
that you can still do things with excellence by sending people to voicemail.
Yep.
You can still, as a matter of fact, you're going to be better at your job when you use the PTO that people gave you. Why do we think
I don't understand why
they
we're
give us
hoarding
the
PTO in
PTO?
2025. No one should be hoarding their PTO. Okay.
I'm not really
It,
sure what well, I have
it,
my ideas. We'll talk about that in another episode.
yeah, but bottom line, listen, you do not need to prove to those people that you should take that time off. You have
No.
earned that time off.
Yes.
Take the
Yes.
time off.
Some jobs they distribute the days. Some people give it to you for like, they give you all your days at the top of the year. And
Yeah.
some jobs give it to you, give you a day a month.
Yeah.
There's something to that. There's something behind that. Somewhere, someone else might be listening and say, no, this is the real reason. But to me, in my mind, if I'm on a job and they gave me a day a month, I'm going to take my day.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my day.
Yeah.
Obviously, they know, someone knew or someone decided, okay, if you give people an extra day a month or so, they can either take it, they can let it build up, right? So they can
Mm-hmm.
take a week off in the
Mm-hmm.
summer or Christmas or whatever. But most of the time, most people need that
Yeah.
one day to do nothing,
Yeah.
to do nothing.
And be okay with doing nothing. But
Yeah. And be okay with doing nothing, knowing that sometimes your best is not going to always look picture perfect.
mm-hmm.
And that's okay.
Yes. I agree.
That's okay.
So in therapy, here are some things that we kind of like we share with our clients, and
Mm-hmm.
we also wanted to share it with you all in hopes that it will help. So if you are still in this space where you are again trying to shift the narrative or shift some of those internal scripts that you are hearing or that you are operating out of, this is something that we would encourage you to do. So the first thing that we would say is like identify where you learned that you had to be more to be enough. So like where does that come from? And it's not something that you have to jump and answer. Like really give yourself the time and the space to really just like process that. Like
But answer it though.
but
So
answer
answer
it.
it.
No, we're
Answer
not saying skip it, but
it.
just like sit with it. So don't
Yes.
skip it, but sit
Sit
with
with
it
it.
and
Yes.
really think through like, what is this voice that I'm hearing? Or
Mm-hmm.
when did I start to believe that I had to give more or be more to be enough? And
Yeah.
then another thing that I would encourage you to do, and then I'll let Crystalline share if she wants to add anything else, is to practice rest and enoughness as a radical healing tool. So if any of my clients are listening or people that I've ever come into like any type of contact with or communication with through email, I am always preaching you need to rest. And rest can look different in so many ways. And we'll talk about that. I think in like it's coming up in this
Yeah.
season, but
But go sit down somewhere. That you saying it nice. Let me just
I
listen,
know
y'all. Go sit
I'm
down.
trying to, we have to. We have to be gentle with the people.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Let
We
me
have
back
to
up.
be a little gentle in the beginning, part of therapy. We're building rapport, and then we can start to say, girl, go
Yeah.
sit down.
It
But I
needs, yeah,
mean,
but
seriously,
literally,
yeah.
yeah. I really do think that is when you said to sit with it, that is the question we want to ask ourselves. Also, like who's if it's something that I'm telling myself, whose voice is it?
Whose
My voice?
voice? Yeah.
Is that my voice now? I do believe that some things like used to be like our mama voice or
Yeah.
a grandparent's voice, and now it sounds like us. It's loud and
Yeah.
it sounds like us. But then the next part would be, okay, is this something that I want to hold on to? Is
Yes.
this a script or narrative I want to hold on
Yes.
to? I get it. I love my mom or I love my grandma,
Yes.
whoever taught you this thing. We love them. But is this something that I want to hold on to?
Yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah.
maybe it's something they passed down to you because they thought it was best. Most of
Yeah.
the time, that's what's true.
And maybe they passed that down to you because they were also experiencing something different in life. Their resources
Definitely.
were different, the
Definitely.
times were different. And now you are in a space where you
Mm-hmm.
get to redefine, is this a voice that actually,
Yeah,
or is this a script, a voice, a narrative that aligns with me and who I'm trying to become?
that's exactly right. So let me speak to the woman who's listening right now, and she's trying to do everything right. She's trying to do everything,
Yeah.
and she's trying to do everything right. You've been showing up, you've been helping everyone, you've been trying not to disappoint other people, you've been trying not to disappoint yourself, you've been trying not to disappoint God, but deep down, you are tired, you're afraid to slow down because you feel like if you rest, if you take a break, you're going to be failing. Something is not going to get done, the ball is going to drop. All of these things that are not helpful, but this is what you've been telling yourself. You are still valuable, not because of what you do, but because of who you are, because of who God created you to be. Period. You don't have
That's
to
it.
earn love. You don't have to prove your worth. You don't have to prove your value. You do not have to be perfect to be seen. That was never a requirement for any of us. Ephesians chapter 2, verses 8 through 9 says, it is by grace you have been saved through faith, not by works. So God didn't create us to try to carry everything on our own. I'm going to always say
Mm-hmm.
that. He did not create us to perform.
Mm.
We couldn't, y'all. There's not enough we could do. We
Not,
couldn't do. We could
not.
not do enough in 10 lifetimes to earn God's grace.
Mm-hmm.
But just because of who we are, He loves us. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. His love is not conditional. It is constant, though.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to do more just to be loved. You already are loved.
That was it. Oh, okay. Just hold on to that you are already loved, you are already worthy, you are enough, and you do not have to prove anything. Lay it down. Hold on to that.
Yeah.
But before we go, we always love to give you just like a rest stop, some fuel to help you on the road ahead, especially as it relates to laying down the pressure that you are feeling to prove, do more, or be more. So let's take a moment to pause together. This is your rest stop before re entering your day. Again, we just want to remind you that you don't have to prove anything to be enough. You already are. So, we do have a reflection question that we want to leave you with, in addition to the questions that we shared before. So, if you need to go back and write down that question, definitely do so. But then also, we want to give you another one just to hold you over until the next episode. So the question is, where in my life am I performing when I could be present? I'm gonna have to answer that one
Mm.
myself because a lot is coming to
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the top for
Yeah.
me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to sit with that. And I may share on the next episode
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
came up
Or
for
maybe
me.
even think about I want to challenge, I'm going to challenge myself, a challenge Felicia, and challenge our listeners to choose one thing to do without over explaining,
Hmm.
without over perfecting it.
Okay.
Let it be gentle, let it be enough.
Okay. All right. So we just want to say thank you so much for tuning in to
Yes.
this episode. Again, if this is your first time, we hope that you stay. We want you to become family like the rest of us. And again, we just want to remind you that you do not have to earn rest or love. You already carry it within you.
All right. Thank y'all for listening. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye. That's it for today's conversation. We're so glad you joined us.
If this episode spoke to you, we'd love for you to subscribe, share it with a friend, or leave us a review. It helps more women like you find this space.
Join us next time for another honest conversation. Until then, take care of yourself and trust your journey.